Stadia Podcast, episode number 116 of your weekly Stadia show, where we round up all of the gaming and Stadia news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on Helix Cloud Games YouTube channel and out there on your podcast service of choice. If you haven't done so already, or if you are new to the show, don't forget to like down below, subscribe and hit that bell so you're kept in the loop with all of the amazing content we bring you right here, like our weekly live streams, like our Discord chat where you can join the conversation with all other like-minded cloud gamers. I'm joined this week by my ever-occurring member of the panel, the man of many pixels, Mr. Richie.
Hello everyone.
Hello indeed. We've got another great show lined up for you all this week, covering all of the not-so-much Game Awards news, plenty of new games rated and coming soon, Ubisoft diving into the world of NFTs, which will definitely take our anger out on, and much, much more. But before we do dive into all that, let's address the big, shiny elephant in the room. Richie, it is the 11th of December, and I'm yet to see any Christmas festive decorations in your cameras.
Right. I can explain this. I do have a Christmas tree up in my house. But the one I had in this office, last year, doesn't fit since I've moved the room around. It doesn't fit in that corner there. It's just too big, unfortunately.
This guy, folks, I know we call him the man of many pixels, but I'm going to call him Ebenezer from now on. Humbug.
Christmas decorations are one of the worst things about Christmas.
I have to admit, when you posted on Twitter the other day about untangling lights, I was
there for like an hour.
Yeah, I had flashbacks to I've had to unload probably about 3 or 4 boxes this last week, and I don't know how they can go into the box wrapped up fairly neat, and then somehow over the 12-month period congeal themselves into just an absolute mess.
You know what's worse? Mine are kind of, the very narrow wire ones, not the big chunky fellas. Mm-hmm. Mine are like that, so it was just I picked up out the box, and it was just all tangle. Yeah. The spool that they were on, that was just in the box, separate from us. I don't know how this has happened. I need a beer.
It's at one point, eventually, I'm really considering, you're going to open the box after a year, and the spool is going to be separate, just on its own, somehow detached from all of the wires which are wrapped up. And
that was literally the situation.
It's the same with headphones. They do the same thing. You leave them to their own devices, and somehow they just kind of entwine themselves like a cobra.
The thing with headphones, though, is they're relatively short compared to this.
That is true. They don't have all dangly lights hanging off it, which get caught on everything you pull. It just tightens and...
I honestly had a moment where I was debating just not bothering with a Christmas tree this year. It's do I just not bother?
You need something to...
It was a serious consideration.
Serious consideration indeed. But that does not take away from, of course, it is the festive season. We're getting in the festive spirit here at Helix Cloud Games with all of your news coming up. Some Christmas related actually as well. But before we dive into all the Stadia news and the gaming news of the week, Richie, gaming, we play some games. We played a lot of games. What you been playing this week? I know you've not been playing too much.
I've had quite a handful of late sessions at work, late shifts, so I've been getting home late, and then I just wasn't in the mood too much for gaming this week, so I've just been playing a bit of FIFA, and that's about a lot. I intend to jump back into Tales of Arise tomorrow, though.
Burning the midnight oil. I dove into... Actually, there's a few things that are very pertinent to the news, which relate to what I've been playing, but of course, Unto the End, Stadia Pro game, dropped on the 10th. Brand new. Added. We were supposed to get it back in October, I believe, and it was pushed back at last minute to December 10th. So there's an extra pro game for you guys to go claim out there. So do not forget, go check that game out and claim it and play it. I did a first look yesterday, and we probably need to talk about this as well. So Unto the End, it's of course about a little Viking guy, 2D action adventure, kind of side-scrolling adventure, and you essentially just have to find your way home. That's the concept of the game. Find your way back to your family. There's first look up. Go check it out now. And there was some very frustrating moments in this game. I think we said on a few shows ago, the combat style is like Nidhogg, where you have to kind of block, parry up, parry low, roll, and so it's got a bit more to the fight combat mechanics than you would traditionally get in, rather than just hack and slash. the game, to start with, needs some optimization. There's a few things I ran into during my first look, which made it quite a frustrating first look. The concept of the game, I can see the fun and enjoyment in there, but to start off with, no prompts for anything. So there's not a suggestion of any kind of real tutorial for... There was a point I got to a cave wall that had a key slot, and the key slot was in the shape of a triangle. No prompt or anything to tell me that it was a key slot. It was just a glowy triangle on a wall. And I had no idea. So I backtracked through the level to then find out, after getting stuck on a trap for a long, long time, you've got a feature to roll. And it doesn't tell you about the roll feature. So I'd gone through like the typical standstill, press all the buttons and triggers. Nothing happened because I wasn't doing a directional button press. But I figured that out. And there's a trap which caught me out. There's like a spike trap comes up through the floor. Must have killed me about 10 plus times because I didn't realise I was trying to get past the trap before it triggered. And there's some humour in there as well. But the biggest thing that got me is when you get to a campfire, it gives you the option to do an optional sparring sparring training, and that it gives you a flashback of your wife and son, which teaches you the mechanics, but it's optional. So I had played the game for about half an hour before I realised there was a tutorial to say how to parry, how to roll, how to do certain things.
I can see, you can almost see what's happened there. They've decided they don't want to put a tutorial into the game, but then probably playtesters have got frustrated, so they've just added something in wherever it was convenient. But I think that sort of game can work quite well if it kind of very early on it teaches you the basic mechanics. That let's say like there's a section in the first 5-10 minutes where you have to roll to get past. So you're very early in the game. You have to be playing with the buttons, and you figure, oh, I can roll. I can get on this obstacle, and now I know the mechanics there. I wonder what else I can do with it.
Yeah,
and then teach you the mechanics through the way the world's built.
Certainly,
but it sounds like they haven't done that.
Yeah, there's just a few moments, and I know it's not me because I've watched other people. I watched our good friend Meg over on her channel stream kind of her first look as well, and she fell into some of the same traps that I did, and then at the same time totally bypassed them. So the spike trap I got stuck on for about 15 minutes. She got straight past in a breeze, just because she'd approached it in her first instance in a slightly different way. Whereas I got caught up on maybe overthinking it a little bit, and then got into this perpetual loop of death. And the kind of biggest thing for me after it all was near the end of my first look, I kind of just got stuck in a cavern area. Watched Meg's stream. There's a sequence of events that didn't trigger for me. So I don't know if the game was glitched in that instance, but there's a moment where Meg gets to a certain area. It's like a cage lift, like elevator trap, and the character gets on the lift and goes down to the next level. Didn't happen for me. So I backtracked back and forth about 50 times, died a few more times, and then gave up on my first look because I couldn't progress any further. And I watched Meg's stream. First time getting there, triggered a sequence, and then she got took down to a different level. So there's some little optimization kind of tutorial-y bits that I think needs ironing out. And the biggest thing was the A and B buttons on the controller prompts are wrong. So it says it's A to roll, when in fact it is B to roll.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
So not only did I figure out how to roll far too late in the game to be beneficial for me, but at the same time, when I did the sparring, so you fight your wife with like wooden sticks, and when I'm trying to fight it, the tutorial for the sparring pops up and says, press A to roll, and I'm pressing A, and she's hitting me, and I'm like, I'm pressing A to roll, and I was like, hang on a minute, B's usually roll, and you roll past her and avoid it, and I was like, held the control up to the camera to prove it.
Oh, that's bad. You know what? I know what that problem is.
It thinks it's a Switch controller.
Yep, you're playing a Switch port.
Yeah.
And they haven't remapped the controller prompts, and that's sloppy. Like,
I'm surprised no one's tweeted at them. Or like, I know the game's been out for a while on the platform, right? It's just only gone pro is why it's maybe getting a bit more attention. But I don't want to take away, because the art style of the game's good. I can totally see the enjoyment in the game. There was just a few things in my 40 or so minute first look that hampered it to a point where if I was just playing that on my own time off camera in the living room, I don't know how much further I would bother, because it kept putting barriers up that were taking away from my enjoyment. Yeah,
the game was released last year, December.
On Switch by any chance as well?
No, that's on the Stadia release.
Okay. But go check it out. Go check out my first look. There's many deaths. It does echo back to my Monster Boy playthrough to a degree, because there's one point I do laugh maniacally. There's one point I do put my head in my hands. There's one point I do get very frustrated, which is all.
Is it the very frustrated where you just kind of put your controller down and go, yeah? No, I'm done. Wait, no, I'm recording this. I need to explain more.
Yeah, it was kind of similar to bits in like Little Nightmares, where when you think any traditional puzzle game, this is how you would do it, and then I saw Meg get stuck on a different trap, and she died about 4 or 5 times, and I got past it first time, but it's just because she was overthinking the trap, like I overthought the trap she got past straight away. So it's interesting how different approaches work differently for different players. But go check it out. Of course, go claim the game. Try it yourself. Let me know if certain parts don't trigger for you, or you get stuck, or you're probably listening to me now thinking, Chris, come on, step it up. It was quite easy to get past that opening sequence. But of course, I digress. One of your many pro games to play this month. I've been chipping away a bit more of Chorus. Really enjoying that. Definitely want to check out if you're into those flight simulators, space shooter simulators, I should say. And I'm enjoying it at the moment, Richie. I'm in this kind of like free zone. After I said I finished Far Cry and Guardians, I don't have like any big overly strong commitments to any game. So I played a bit of Fall Guys on my PlayStation. I'm watching a bit more Netflix, catching up on some just mixing it up a bit. Started reading.
It's nice when you get them things where you just like dabble in a few different things. Like,
but went out for a walk the other day. All those kinds of
I'm currently at the point at work where I've only got like 2 weeks left of work before I'm off for like a fortnight. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of just like focusing on closing off as much stuff as I can at work, and so it's like I've just been knackered. But so I haven't played that much, because I want to get into Tales of Arise, but with it being so heavily story driven and like quite action focused, you kind of need to be like in the right frame of mind for it. When you come home, sometimes you're tired from work. It's like I just want to play something casual.
Exactly.
So that's why I've been playing a bit of FIFA.
That seems all right. Fits the bill. But that's what we've been playing. Let us know what you've been playing in the comments before, Stadia or otherwise, of course. We're all about the games here, and that's why, Richie, we've got a juicy jam-packed show for our lovely viewers out there. And before we get into all that, you need to introduce us to the
super sexy special Stadia story segment, aka the news.
Lots of news for you folks out there this week, and of course, the news is brought to you by our wonderful members. Over 50 of you out there, still across Patreon and YouTube membership. Support us that little bit more and get early access to all of our amazing content too. We thank you very, very much for your continued patronage and your support, because it does mean a lot. All of you, of course, get super stickers. New stickers, actually, Richie. We've got a new sticker to use in the chat.
Yeah. I did launch a new sticker for the Game Awards.
Just for the Game Awards.
Unfortunately, there wasn't.
There was not much. We'll get into it. There's not much use for it.
Yeah.
And early access to our episodes of SideQuest up to 6 days early. You get them when they drop live on a Sunday for your listening or viewing pleasure. But we thank you very, very much, especially at this festive time. It helps us reinvest in the channel, and we just appreciate it overall. And shout out to all the amazing people who drop super chats when we go live on Thursday nights for our live stream too. You're all very much appreciated, and we need to say it more regularly. So thank you very, very much. But Richie, let's get into the news. Kickstarting things off with the elephant, the big, shiny, Jeff Keighley, Sting, Imagine Dragons, Matrix copyright striking elephant in the room today. The Game Awards. You and me stayed up into the very early hours of the morning this past Thursday to watch Jeff Keighley and a slew of celebrities announce multiple video games that are coming to the video game industry in the year 2022 and beyond, giving us some kind of roadmap for what the future of the video games industry may entail, covering all sorts of platforms. And we stayed up, had a very good time till 4:30 a.m. in the morning, I think I actually settled and eventually got to sleep probably around about the 5 o'clock mark.
Yeah, same. That's the thing. When we're streaming that late, you kind of switched on. So when you like the camera stopped rolling, it's like you're still wide awake.
Yeah.
You don't just suddenly go and sleep.
Yeah, you don't just hit the keyboard. It's totally out. So, yes, elephant in the room, folks. You're, of course, here for a Stadia show, and unfortunately, the Game Awards not the Game Awards. Stadia did not deliver at the Game Awards. We won't deliberate on it long. There's plenty to be said out there in the Twitterverse and in comment sections and Facebook social feeds, all of that kind of stuff. We get it. We understand. But we don't want to also spend an hour of this show diving into the Game Awards because we had a great time. As gamers, Richie, as someone who owns a PlayStation 5, a Nintendo Switch, a decent PC, and has access to cloud gaming, there was plenty of stuff at the Game Awards for us to be hyped about. The Game Awards in themselves arguably had a few problems. There were too long, too many advertisements, focused a little bit too much
terrible time zone,
too much movies. So this show could take a very specific direction if we wanted it to, but the whole purpose was to celebrate in video games, and there was some stellar announcements to come out of it for us to get excited about. Any particular picks for you, Richie? Just as we keep it light on the Game Awards?
Star Wars Eclipse, I think, has the potential to be something awesome. But the devs, what were the devs called again? Quantic, they have some like cultural problems similar to Activision as well, so it's like mixed feelings on that. Like, so I don't know. It's like that's one of them. I think the game is going to have to be pitching towards a 10 out of 10 for me to consider it.
Okay.
Because if it's looking like an 8, I think like I wouldn't want to support that. I personally wouldn't want to support that developer. Yeah. Because I think the whole Activision, we haven't really talked about it in the show, but the whole Activision stuff is like, really can't stand that sort of stuff like in video games. It just needs to die.
It seems to be obviously Ubisoft have their own problems too. It seems to be an ongoing thing, which again, I think it's such an awkward one because then you've got the innocent devs who work hard at their graft, and I've seen a few people. Belinda Garcia, I think, who was one of the lead writers for Call of Duty Vanguard. She tweeted out this past week saying how all of her time and effort going into writing a story that she thought was brilliant and bringing characters to life didn't even get a sniff in at the Game Awards in any category at all. And for a game that's arguably, if not probably already the biggest selling title of the year, not to be mentioned in the slightest, it is a... You must... I know it's not her fault, but...
It's not her fault at all. I think she does great work, but I think the problem with these, it's usually the upper management where's the problem, not people like Belinda Garcia who are actually doing the bulk of the heavy lifting and making the game.
It's just
it's a shame there, and unfortunately, I think the upper management only seem to care about the money, which we'll talk a bit more about Ubisoft later.
Well, yeah, exactly. So
I think as long as Call of Duty keeps selling loads and loads and loads of millions of copies, they don't care.
But pivoting back to video games,
but that was a bit of a tangent.
We saw just so much variety on display. None of which was confirmed to Stadia. Again, just to keep it topical, we saw a logo kicking off the pre-show with Risk of Rain 2. We saw a logo.
So we started off optimistic.
Yeah. Where else do we see logos? A Destiny Witch Queen DLC. We know it's coming.
Was it Pixel Junk Raiders?
Was that there?
No, it was Risk of Rain. I was getting two in my head mixed up.
Risk of Rain. I actually noted it down in
Chorus.
Chorus was there. Yes, of course. Chorus had a logo. Yep. But of course, the titles that you said there, Star Wars Eclipse looks terrific. We got Wonder Woman from Warner Brothers. Very excited to see what that is. Yep. Alan Wake 2. Another big title.
Alan Wake 2 is good.
Gollum. We had a little chuckle to ourselves when T'Challa showed up. Because that's, of course, was announced for Stadia before.
That's almost a bit of a kick in the teeth for Stadia fans.
Yeah, always, until PlayStation came in with a checkbook and basically made it exclusive to PlayStation. So T'Challa no longer coming. Arguably had the most presence of a previously Stadia game. Suicide Squad for Spoken. Space Marine 2 looked really, really good from my part. It was such an interesting way that rolled out.
Yeah, Space Marine 2 was a particular standout. Persona 4 seemed a fighting game from Persona 4 for some reason was there.
There was so much. Dune Spice Wars, Saints Row remake got a look in. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands again, which again a lot of these titles we should say I'm very, very hopeful will come to the platform. unfortunately, the Game Awards was not the place Google or Stadia wanted to show their hand, it would appear.
Telltale Games were there.
Yeah, Telltale, who were there with Deck 9.
Yeah,
which was our biggest surprise.
A fantastic partnership there.
That was a very standout thing that I don't think any of us expected, because of course Deck 9 did the most recent Life is Strange title, and they're working with the newly reformed Telltale on an Expanse game, which is an Amazon Prime show, so probably won't see it on anything outside of Amazon Luna maybe, but we shall see. Well, yeah. Overall,
Wonder Woman, I think Wonder Woman's one I'm cautiously optimistic about. With it just being, all we know is that there's a Wonder Woman game.
Yeah, my two things from the Wonder Woman. One, it's from Monolith, which means I'm immediately thinking the similar combat to the Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor games. You've got Wonder Woman with her powers, just like, is it Talion in Shadow of War, I want to say? Troy Baker plays him, who plays everyone. Wonder Woman, she's got the quick traversal, she's got the speed. If they had a Nemesis system in, she's got the Lasso of Truth, so she could essentially use the Lasso of Truth to do the same as the Nemesis system, read their minds and say, tell me what's going on.
You're still listening to me now.
It's open world. Yeah. What city does Wonder Woman reside in? It's not Metropolis, it's not Star City, it's not... Does she have a... I guess the Mascara, that like Amazonian island, but probably just going to get flashbacks to that. But I can see it. Monolith have got enough in their tank, I think, to make a great Wonder Woman game in a similar vein to the Arkham Batman titles.
And one of the reasons I'm actually optimistic about this, beyond that, is it seems to be, from what we can tell thus far, focused on a single playable character. So I think we might get more of an Insomniac Spider-Man rather than Marvel's Avengers in terms of how the game feels. Yeah. So if they absolutely nail how Wonder Woman feels, this could be an incredible game.
Yeah, I think I'm really optimistic towards it. And the disappointing side of the coin for me is that means I am not working on another Shadow of War game, which is a big Lord of the Rings fan. Disappointed about. But then we've got Gollum. We've got the Gollum game that got another little showcase. Don't know what that one's going to play like, with it being a non-movie licensed one. We shall see. And of course, Warner Brothers. I'm waiting for the Warner Brothers card to be played by Stadia, because obviously we know Arkham Knight runs on the tech through AT&T. 2022 is a big year for Warner Brothers. They have Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, Gotham Knights, Wonder Woman, arguably, probably another fighting game from the Injustice team, Mortal Kombat team, and Lego games. They've got the Lego Star Wars as well. So if Stadia can play that hand, that's arguably 4 exciting titles in Hogwarts Legacy as well. Yeah. 5 big exciting titles that could be tentpoles for 2022, but we just don't know. I can't imagine you going to your 3rd year as a gaming platform without Warner Brothers, who have such a rich IP and heritage.
Especially when it's looking like a big year for Warner Brothers. I mean, personally, I think Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League is just going to be in the vein of the Marvel's Avengers, where they're going to sell the game entirely on the IP and it's going to be underwhelming outside like the main story, the single player story stuff. Yeah, but once that main narrative is gone, there's not that much game left. Yeah, unfortunately.
I mean, I enjoyed Avengers, but I prefer the Avengers to the Suicide Squad. No disrespect to the old King Shark over there, but I much prefer the Incredible Hulk to King Shark in terms of the brute character. But of course, we digress. The reality was, at the Game Awards, we saw nada from the one Google Stadia, mixed in with, unfortunately, adverts for Amazon Luna, sponsorships from GeForce Now, and of course Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, Game Pass predominantly, and everything of the like. So we'll put a pin in that, Richie. I think we'd like to. I'm hopeful we'll sit here next year and talk about all of the amazing reveals we saw, but something needs to change for that going into 2022, and that is why we will take SideQuest this week, take the Game Awards this week, and the future of 2022, put a pin in it. And Richie, what are we going to talk about?
We are going to be talking about we haven't actually got a title for this one yet. Basically, the marketing push that Stadia needs to do in the next year to really turn this around. Yeah. Instead of just moaning about it, we're going to be actually pitching ideas. So
yeah, it's not going to be a half an hour rant about what they need to do in 22. It's going to be a constructive.
We've done that.
Hopeful,
We've done that rant plenty of times.
Just look on
this
Twitter.
is what we think you can do, what you should do.
Yeah, as fans of the platform, if anyone at Stadia would like to watch the video, it goes up to our members on a Sunday. And it goes up on free feeds next Friday, and we're genuinely just going to put our heads together. We've asked our Discord members to chip in with any ideas. How can you market this product? If we were to sit there in a room, in a business meeting, and say, right, 2022, what is the plan? Let's get out there, mix it up a bit, push our product. What can we do? So go check that out when it's available. But Richie, let's move on from the Game Awards. I'm sure we'll talk about the games at the Game Awards for many, many months to come, whether they arrive or not on our platform of choice. But moving on, we did get some tidbits that came out of it from representation. The first story of the week, PUBG is going free to play. It was announced actually as part of the Game Awards, and it upon revising all the announcements and hearings, this one actually surprised me because as someone who claimed PUBG on Stadia Pro well over a year ago, I don't know about you, I just presumed it's been free forever. I didn't actually know PUBG was a paid product still.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I think this announcement comes maybe a couple of years too late for PUBG.
I think it does have a player base still. It's just...
It does, but I think that compared to the player base I had, and then as more battle royales have come in, we've got Warzone, you've got Fortnite,
Apex.
obviously still dominate. Apex, Ubisoft are trying to get into that space. They're currently, I think, at the bottom of the pile in terms of popularity of the currently alive battle royales, and I think partially that might be because there's been a bit of a paywall. Like, if you're looking to get into battle royales, you look at the free options. Like you look at Warzone, and you look at Warzone and PUBG side by side. Warzone looks so much better than PUBG, and then it doesn't have that £30 price tag, which is what it's currently priced at on Stadia.
We do love a bit of PUBG here, though. So
I really like PUBG. It's great fun, but
this is just more of like a refocus. They announced obviously another like more seasonal content, new maps. They're always in the pipeline, but. Just I think a bit more refinement, and again, I don't think it has to. It's never. Let's face it, it's never going to reach the numbers it did. It's lost that fresh on the market, new battle royale style buzz.
I think it was always kind of doomed to fall away a bit as well, because I don't think the game is as polished as some of the big developers. So they hit the market at the right time, but then the bigger developers have just muscled them out.
Yeah. I mean, we knew that like the likes of Epic and Activision were always going to have quicker turnaround, more investment, and I think PUBG, Core and stuff, they've done the best with probably what tools they had at their disposal.
I think they kept going quite strong for a long time as the alternative to Fortnite. If people didn't, for those who don't like the overly cartoony, didn't like the build mechanics, but still want to play Battle Royale. But there again, I do think Warzone is basically the thing that kind of killed it off a bit.
I think Fortnite started stabbing away at it by taking its Battle Royale model and saying, no, we didn't steal this. This isn't plagiarism. Took it to whole new greater heights, and then obviously Apex and Warzone have just came in and nibbled away at that pie. And unfortunately, PUBG with their size of their team and just the turnaround, it started really janky to begin with. Which is
I hope this going free to play does give it a bit of more of an influx, as people who've been kind of put off by the price tag might give it a go and fall in love with the game, because there is a fantastic game in there.
It is super fun. I think it's just going to be one of them titles that's going to be around forever. It's never going to go away. There's always people to play it. It's just never going to hit them. And again, we will hit a time when I believe Fortnite and them will fall away. Like, people will get bored and move on. Like, that's video games in general. It's always ticking over. Like, I enjoyed, I like you and me, we've had our time with Call of Duty, I feel. I loved it, I appreciate it, and I just grew out of it almost. I'm guessing all of those millions upon millions of people playing Fortnite and Apex now, they will move on eventually, because gamers naturally want something new and fresh, always.
I think for us, we were basically buying Call of Duty every year for quite a number of years. And as I focus more and more on the multiplayer and less on the single player, I felt like I was paying sometimes £50-60 for sometimes
Same
an
thing.
under 10-hour experience, and then I wasn't bothered. Then the multiplayer is like, well, I already have this game.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And then I just burned out on first-person shooters almost entirely anyway.
Well, that could be said. That's either something to do with age or preference or just the market changing. But who knows?
everything.
Who knows?
It's all of it.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But good news, though, Richie. If you are a fan of single-player games, then we've got a list of things just for you. Because part of the Stadia community blog this week brings us story number 3. Assassin's Creed is making a larger appearance on the platform alongside Ubisoft Plus as part of the community blog this week, which was a jam-packed community blog, I will say. No reference to the Game Awards, of course. However, we cannot deny this is arguably the longest community blog I think we've ever seen. And with it...
So, I've noticed that since they've decided to go every other week with the community blogs, they're basically doubled in length.
Yeah, which is what they said. But they could split it up and give us half. Either way, it's its own thing.
And they've also started dropping trailers for more stuff into the blogs, which is something we suggested.
Certainly. So, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered is here, arriving alongside Assassin's Creed Liberation as well, which was the Vita version of the Vita take on the game. Relive the American Revolution or experience it for the first time in Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered with enhanced graphics and improved gameplay mechanics. New enhanced graphics and 4K resolution character models, polished environments rendering more the gameplay mechanic. I actually thought that description was going to actually describe the game. You play as a Native American as he finds out that his father is in fact part of the Templars, and then you go about your Assassin's Creed craziness in New York. Around about the American Revolution time, you get to see some Native Americans mixing in with the culture of colonials. And at the same time, you get to stab people with your hidden blade. You get to craft and build your own homestead as you play as Connor. And it's actually one of the... It's not the most revered Assassin's Creed games, but I really enjoyed it because it got away from Italy for the first time. Or not Italy,
I think
Renaissance time and such.
It's kind of the bottom of the pile almost in the Assassin's Creed main series stuff. Yeah... It's a decent game, but again, it's not an Assassin's Creed 2.
It gave us,
and it's not a Black Flag. It's that awkward one in the middle.
Yeah, it did introduce the shipbuilding mechanics though. You get, I think, is it called the Jackdaw, or is that a famous ship?
Isn't the Jackdaw's 4, isn't it?
Maybe that's. Maybe I'm getting my wires crossed. You do get a ship in it. You build it. You make it better. You've got some missions, and then that became obviously a big element of the next title, Black Flag. I know it gets some stick about the American Revolution. Yeah. You do meet some people like George Washington, and like most of these titles along the way, and Templars, Assassins going at it with a bit of history flung in there. I really enjoyed it. You get a hunt for the first time in this game as well. Get pelts, bear pelts, wolf pelts, rabbit pelts, and stuff. There's a mini game in Assassin's Creed 3. Which takes the absolute piss. This is the game. You remember, Richie? I tried to platinum.
Yeah, I remember.
Tried to platinum Assassin's Creed 3 last year, maybe, in fact. This game, oh my word. I don't even want to go into it because it's you'll have to play it yourself to find out. But that's only if you're going for 100% like the crazy people out there do. That alongside, like I said, Liberation. I'd never had a chance to play Liberation on the Vita, so I'm intrigued to look at going back into that one. It was included with the remaster edition, so you'll get that too. That is available, so go check that one out. It's great to see the Ubisoft again, just ticking away in that back catalogue. I know there's people out there shouting for Far Cry 4 still from the rooftops. I'm sure it will come eventually. I know we're getting Blood Dragon in the new year. They're just tipping.
They're doing them in reverse. They're doing them in reverse order. So the next Ubisoft announcement is you're probably going to get. Hopefully, you'll get the Ezio collection and maybe Far Cry 4.
That is one of the only ones we didn't know about. But the ratings dropped this week for Assassin's Creed, and then we got it just mere days later. So there's not many titles left for Ubisoft to go back into. So I'm sure it'll be on the horizon because I think I'm certainly a firm believer that Ubisoft. If for whatever reason Stadia was no longer a thing, Ubisoft Connect would just utilise Stadia at the back end still, and you could just still play Ubisoft Connect regardless of having Stadia, as you can right now essentially with Ubisoft Plus. So fill your boots with your subscription model and the deals that come in the future. Go get stabby with your hidden blade. Next story of the week, story number 4. Super Animal Royale, which has been teased for some time, is coming to Stadia, the Battle Royale featuring loads of your furry friends out there in Super Animal World. 2D Battle Royale, in fact. It came out a little while ago on other platforms, beta test, Steam and such, and as Season 2 started to encroach on the game, we were starting to get a bit concerned that if they're hitting Season 2 and it's yet to come to the platform, what's taking so long? Well, wait no longer, because it is arriving on December 14th alongside the Assassin's Creed titles. Of course, free-to-play, 64-player Battle Royale, with a stampede of new content kicking off Season 2, with an all-new Battle Pass, and a debut, Richie, of Super Beavers.
Exactly what I want in the game, some Super Beavers.
Super Beavers. New map locations and much, much more. Of course, we haven't had a chance to play this one yet, but I know a lot of people out there in the community did check this out on PC. It's PUBG in 2D with animals.
It looks fun.
Does look fun. It's got that kind of fun, almost like a Fortnite aesthetic, I feel like, to it, from the font and everything, but the approach is very much just a 2D Battle Royale. So I'm intrigued to see how being on a different dimension of existence impacts the way the game plays, but all the same, could be very, very fun, and you don't have to wait much longer. And I'm happy that it's lining up with Season 2, so as the player base has a boost, we get a boost. Am I right in thinking it was cross-player? I can't remember.
I think so.
It's 64-player, so without cross-player, I would worry for its survival, if that was the case. But we'll find out the answer, no doubt.
Yes, it is crossplay.
Hey, excellent. So crossplay with PC, like some other titles. We did have a brief first look, Richie, we should point out as well, at 9 to 5 as part of our Game Awards stream. We played about half an hour or so of the 9 to 5.
Like one round.
One round as Team Caffeine, as we were dubbed by the game. We did okay, but we'll have a proper first look at 9 to 5 probably on one of our Thursday night live streams to get a better grasp for it. Again, Rainbow Six Siege inspired, no doubt. 3v3v3, available to play free now. Check it out, dive into it. It is in beta, early access, bear in mind, so there will be some bugs and glitches to iron out along the way. Next up, we got a surprise calling at the door by the Chicken Police, Richie. Didn't expect this one, came out of absolutely nowhere. It was rated midweek.
I think we have covered this before. I think it was previously announced coming to the platform, if I remember rightly.
Was it? Because this is the... to give people a recap, it's a buddy cop adventure. Sonny Featherland and Marty McChicken were once legendary detective duo, the Chicken Police. But that was almost a decade ago, and time has passed them by. I'd imagine a chicken doesn't last past 10 years anyway, naturally. Now, Sonny is just a semi-alcoholic wreck of a bird on his paid leave, while Marty still hides behind the facade, in fact, of a star detective. During their last case, they nearly killed each other, and they haven't spoken since. Now, Sonny and Marty are forced to work together on a case that's weirder and wilder than anything they've encountered before. A thrilling, rich storyline with a classic film noir twist, professional voiceover with more than 8 hours of spoken dialogue, a carefully crafted, unique and colourful world, complex interrogation system, cinematic film noir experience, lots of clues, information and collectibles to find, and a beautiful original soundtrack. Richie, I don't even know where to start with this game. It's like the concept feels like it was just pulled out of thin air, but it kind of works.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like detective noir, but then the art style is kind of like almost photorealistic in places. Like the chickens, like it's like a photo of a chicken like stuck on like a detective noir humanoid body, and it's like, this is one of the weirdest games I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's one of those quirky concept that almost like it draws you in because of how random it really is.
Yeah.
I can't even say I've ever played a game like this. It is from Handy Games, which we covered on the show last week. We're teasing something, and we thought it was going to be Scarf, because of course we had John on the show as a special guest, and he'd advised us that he actually got a press release pack from Handy Games showing Scarf was coming to the platform with logos and everything, only to be retracted and taken away. Which we thought, that'll be the announcement then. And then it turns out, no, in fact, Chicken Police Paint It Red is the preference. So that tells me we're getting Scarf maybe by the end of the year instead.
Maybe.
But Chicken
Maybe
Police,
it was just a mistake. We'll find out later.
we certainly will. But Chicken Police is available now. Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on Chicken Police Painted Red. It's currently down at £17.99, or your local currency equivalent. I probably will wait for Pro for this title, if I'm honest.
Yeah, same.
A bit.
I reckon it's going to be one of them. You're going to wait for Pro, but then you're going to play it, and I think it's going to be hilarious.
Oh, certainly. I've no doubt the humour, just for the fact that they're chicken detectives, is enough to do it for me.
It's going to be a very satirical take on a detective noir story.
Yeah,
like
I get that vibe as well.
It's going to take itself super seriously.
Chicken. Well, we won't have to wait long because that is out right now. But we do have to wait long for certain types of games. Hello Neighbour 2 has been pushed back to an unannounced date. Now, with Hello Neighbour, it's an odd one, Hello Neighbour 2 in particular, because we know Stadia are big fans of the Hello Neighbour connected universe. We, of course, have Hello Neighbour 1, Hello Neighbour Hide and Seek, and Hello Engineer currently in exclusive early access on Stadia. So there's definitely a relationship with Tiny Build Games going on. The sequel was announced at an Xbox showcase last year. It was due to come out it was due for release in 2021, but it's quietly received a delay and it's been pushed back quite a bit. It's now up for pre-order in April, but they haven't given an actual date other than 2022 at some point. So you can pre-order the game from April, which would make me think it's at least coming out next year. But we're yet to have confirmation for Stadia, Richie, but I'm guessing you've got to imagine it's coming.
The only platforms, according to IGN, we've got confirmation for Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One and PC, which makes me wonder, push this into the almost Xbox exclusive category. There's no Switch, no Sony there.
Yeah, it wasn't at an Xbox event originally, but
yeah,
it's such a weird, we joke all the time about this Hello Neighbour universe, how many titles they've got and all slight variations. But you've got to imagine, unless Xbox
I'd imagine it. That's the thing. I wonder, is Xbox paying for it?
Maybe. Did they see something?
I think there is a good chance of this coming to Stadia, but I wouldn't take it as a given.
Yeah, same. It's certainly a Game Pass title, I would say.
Yeah.
One that will probably thrive more being on a subscription service to the millions as opposed to buying the game outright for a nominal fee. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm a bit indifferent on the Hello Neighbour games. There's fun to be had, but they're definitely not home run hitting titles at all. They're quirky. You have a few laughs. I think we had the most fun in probably Hide and Seek. If I'm recalling that version right.
I think there's a good game in Hello Engineer. Once we start kind of figuring out how all the systems work together.
Yeah, that's true. There's a first look up on the channel, right? Did we do it as a first look or a live stream?
We did a live stream, but we had a lot of internet issues.
Don't we always? I tell you who isn't having internet issues, Richie. LG TVs that are hooked up to now Google Stadia. Arguably one of the biggest stories a week outside of the Game Awards is that Google Stadia is now available for LG web operating system smart TVs from 2020 model builds and beyond. As was promised at the beginning of the year, Google Stadia is now playable on the most recent generation of LG WebOS smart TVs. It was announced at CES 2021, where they debuted their new lineup of smart TVs, and as someone who had recently bought an LG smart TV in the Black Friday prior, was concerned of the cutoff point, safe to say, Richie, I have it. I have it on my LG TV in my new lounge room.
Yeah.
So happy because my TV is a wall-mounted one, and because of the lack of space behind the TV, I couldn't use, the Chromecast Ultra plug. It sticks out quite far from the wall. If anyone out there, I'm sure, is familiar with it, thanks to the millions of Premier editions we all own, it sticks out by, I'd say, a good 2 inches. Whereas most plugs, you'd like to think they'd be a bit more flush with the wall. Actually, anyone out there using Christmas lights right now has probably realised how big and chunky some stupid plugs can be. Oh god,
mine's like this long.
Yeah. Why are Christmas light plugs so freaking big? But besides the point, I could not use the Chromecast Ultra plug behind my wall-mounted TV because it doesn't have the space. So I had to swap it out for a Google Home Hub plug adapter instead, just one of the little white USB ones. And now when I use my Chromecast Ultra on the TV, it tells me that I'm using the incorrect power adapter for 4K. So my Chromecast Ultra will not put out 4K because of the power adapter I'm using.
Really?
Yeah, it comes up the entire bottom of my, the Chromecast background that tells you, press the Stadia combination, it boots, and it gives you like a nice wallpaper. I have an entire banner across the bottom of the screen that says, this Chromecast will not put out 4K unless you switch to the proper power adapter, which I didn't realise electricity had a bearing on output resolution.
Well, I suppose it'll be the performance of the device itself. It probably just isn't getting enough power to
maybe
to sustain the 4K stream.
Which is odd because I just thought, well, if it's got power to turn on, that should be suffice. But I'm not an electrician, so without digressing too much, the great news is that I have it works, so I don't need the Chromecast anymore. You folks out there, if you've got an LG, Richie, if you're in the market for a new shiny LG TV, you don't have to plug in a Chromecast because Stadia works fine, and I can attest to it. Setup is super easy. You go to the App Store on the TV, there is Stadia app, you install it, you log in with your Gmail account, sync your controller with the code, boom, done, in, on millions of televisions out there. Where do you feel?
Cool.
Where are you sitting with it? Does this tempt you more?
This is good. Well, the only thing that's holding me back, to be honest, in getting a new TV is the funds. So, and honestly, I've got so many Chromecast Ultras. Stadia being built into one is kind of irrelevant for me. Mm-hmm. I think it's good for Stadia, but for me, because I've got a drawer full of Chromecast Ultras, I was like, fine.
Yes, I think the crux of it all is it is great for Stadia. It essentially now allows us to broaden the market. It allows them to broaden the market a lot more. And I think your more casual gamers who don't really use Chromecast, don't really know what they are, and they have all of their apps very much right now, Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon, just through the TV.
Yeah.
Like, the reality is, as TVs get smarter, the need for a Chromecast is lessened.
I despite having Google TV, I must admit I still basically just use it as a Chromecast. I just cast everything off my phone because it's easy. It's in my hand already, and I'm not messing on with other remotes or anything. Yeah,
and there's a lot of people out there, I think, who are very interested. I should point out as well our good friend Clive Illenden. If you've not checked out his show, he does a weekly Stadia Monday night talk show. So we always say on a Monday, you check out our podcast during the day, and then check out Clive live on the night. LG's market share in TVs especially has gone up like massively. They've had a representative growth of 23.8% over 2019, which means global units sold, so television units, 7.2 million units.
I think what it is a lot of people making the jump from like 1080p HD TVs up to like 4K or HDR OLEDs, and LG are basically kind of the market leader at the moment. And price-wise, they're fine. Yeah. Like, it's not like you're paying extortionate to get the quality. It's like comparable against comparable price models. LG seems to always come on top at the moment. Yeah. At least from a lot of the like tech channels and tech YouTubers and stuff I've watched, LG seems to be winning.
Yeah.
So
back in the day, I was always a big fan of the Sony TVs, but they always come with that markup price. Like, it's so expensive for some of them, and yet the LG ones, they seem to just hit that sweet spot between value and quality. And they've seen an increase of more than 15% on last year's numbers in the same period. So now
you make a good product.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, crazy, right? But again, at its core, that now means, if it going on the same ones, that is millions and millions of new places people can discover Stadia without having to leave the house. Essentially, it's in their living room. So all those examples over the many months of podcasts we've done, and we've always said, just getting it in people's hands, and future generations of kids who they want to play games, but maybe their console's been used by a family member, or they just don't have one. They don't have a brand new console. The television has it built in. Sync your controller, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, Stadia if you're lucky enough to have one, and just play literally on your television with no box, no hardware required. Just boot up the TV. Yeah, and it's great.
The next step for this kind of same idea would be bundling a controller, just have a controller in the box with the TV. So you got Stadia in this. You open the box and there's a controller.
Yep, there's your remote. There's your controller and
right,
a little package.
Right out the gate.
And then
right out the gate, you're playing
with 3 months free, right? I mean,
with 3 months. Well, that's just part of the service when you subscribe. You sign up. So take your Gmail account, link your Gmail account. Oh, here's 3 months of free to go. You've got a controller. So the day you get the TV out the box, especially you want to try some games out, you can just go.
It's.
Just get the controller in the box. You can have that one for free.
Yeah, I know. We give them crap about marketing. We know that. Everyone does. The community, the gaming industry in general, loves to. But just picture Christmas Day, Richie. The family have got a brand new. I don't know who's getting a 4K TV for their kids or something for Christmas Day, but Black Friday or Boxing Day sales or something like that. TV's unwrapped, and like you said, in there is a Stadia controller. Just package again. Stadia controllers are lovely controllers. What the hell's that?
It is fantastic.
Get one out. Kids know none the wiser. They've never seen an advert for Stadia. The parents don't have a clue about it. What is it? It came with the TV, Mum and Dad. Great. In there is a little card or a little envelope that says, "Open up. Here's your 3 free months of Stadia Pro." And in that is a couple of little graphics that shows Cyberpunk, FIFA, Control, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Okay, well, we've got 3 months free. Let's boot up the TV and log in. When you're full on Christmas dinner or you're lazing around on the weekend and you've got a week off work, and they boot it up with 3 months free, they realise that they can claim 44 Stadia Pro games, 44 titles that span.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Now, pro games that span like amazing titles,
including controls on there.
Hitman's still on there to claim.
Hitman, yeah.
Pixel Jump Raiders is on there still. What else we got? Trine 4 randomly still on there. Moonlighter. Killer Queen Black is still on there to claim. Little Big Workshop. Darksiders, Saints Row. Hello Engineer. A lot of the younger audience games. Spirit, Lucky's Big Adventure, Paw Patrol, Mighty Bear. They're all on
Crayta.
there. Crayta
is one that I think will be good with the kids.
Dirt 5 is still on there. So I just can't. I can't imagine a world where you get 3 months free and a controller with your TV and you're not at least testing it out.
Yeah.
And that's all it takes. Get your foot in the door. Mum and Dad realise, the kids realise that they do not need an expensive box to play games this Christmas. That's it.
And then
you're done.
Then to back that up, then you need to also have the games in the store library. But all the Ubisoft stuff's there, so.
Mm-hmm. And then imagine being that kid who then finds out that Mum and Dad want to watch TV tonight, so the TV's taken. Sorry, little Timmy. And then Timmy realises that actually his tablet he got for Christmas, or his smartphone that somehow at 11 years of age he's already got, plays it as well. And then all them 44 games he's just claimed, he can just go play in his bedroom or on the couch.
Yeah. Oh wait, you got a TV in your bedroom, Timmy? Here's our old Chromecast Ultra. You can use that.
It sells itself, but.
Yeah.
We have to wait and see how this really works, but it can't not be denied that this is a great move, and it's great to see it come to fruition as we head into 2022, because there will be CES 2022 happening. I think it happens in February actually, so we don't actually have to wait that long before LG come out all singing and dancing with a whole new slew of devices, as goes for all the other smart TV manufacturers, and hopefully as Stadia start to speak and market themselves in the new year. So, good stuff all around, because marketing is important, which brings us on to our next story of the week, Richie, which I think is a terrific piece of marketing. What if I told you could vote for which game you would like a 75% discount on?
I'd say I already have both the games, so but no, this is a fantastic move from the Stadia PR team. If to engage, it's not gonna win more people to the platform, but it's a nice thing to include your current user base on.
Oh, absolutely. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, the Stadia account tweeted out this past week saying 2 games enter, 1 game leaves. Now's your chance to decide which game goes on sale. The game with the most votes gets the discount. Who's it going to be? So they're literally just pitting two games against each other, and as an audience, you get to vote which one gets a 75% discount. Now, this particular first entry in the voting scheme was Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Far Cry 5. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's a bit of an unfair fight because Far Cry 5 is a slightly older title, and Valhalla is still quite new, and also rumoured as of next Monday to get a massive, massive Year 2 expansion. No surprise then that the poll ended with Assassin's Creed Valhalla 69%, Richie.
Yeah.
Nice. And Far Cry 5, 30%. So no surprise, the newer, bigger, arguably better game won out in the end. But off the back of that, it dropped down to a sweet, sweet price point of £14.99. Less than £15, $15, I think, Canadian as well, 15 stateside. For this massive
for
game.
that price, if you haven't played Valhalla, buy it.
Yeah.
There's no reason to not do on that price, unless like you're kind of strapped for cash because of Christmas. But it's £14.
Yeah.
For that one of last year's big AAA titles.
Yeah. 130 plus hours I've played of the game so far. And you know what, Richie? I bought it for that price.
Really?
I'm excited for whatever this Year 2 thing is. So
does it have Ubisoft Connect, so you can carry your save over from PlayStation?
It does indeed. So I can just move that across, and then any content that gets announced next week, I can do. And then I tell myself the savings of buying the game outright can be put towards whatever this Year 2 season pass content looks like. But now I get the luxury of playing on the go, and also thanks to Ubisoft Connect, all my stuff's there. All my 130 hours don't have to start again.
So you've basically paid £14 for the convenience for wherever you are, you can play this game.
Yeah, completely.
Which, considering you do travel for work,
exactly
makes sense.
And I am a sucker for a sale as well, so it's no surprise. And I hope everyone out there does snap up this offer, and I hope next Monday's announcement is like
next Monday we'll get Far Cry 5 and sale 1 week.
Yeah.
And what you realise we just voted on the order, but
now part of me does think it would be maybe. I'd be very interested to see the vote if it was Far Cry 6 up against Valhalla.
That would have been, I think, Far Cry 6, I think, would have won that vote because it's a newer title.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Because I think Far Cry and Assassin's Creed are kind of roughly rated around about the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people go, well, this is the better value.
Yeah, what am I getting? But I've seen loads of people across social media saying, yeah, I've got it, I've picked it up. We should mention, though, there is an awkward caveat that comes with Stadia in these game sales, and that comes in the form of if you have Ubisoft Plus, you can't buy games outright. So this game, I've seen a lot of people ask the question, I've currently got a Ubisoft Plus subscription, I'd like to buy Valhalla for $14.99. I can't. Because, Richie, if you cancel your Ubisoft Plus subscription, you have to wait out your subscription duration, which means it might be up to 1 whole month, and this deal lasts for a grand total of 24 hours. So that's something we have talked about before. I think Stadia, and I think this is more on Stadia's end rather than Ubisoft's end, but it could be Ubisoft's end as well. But between them, they need to figure this out so you can just choose to purchase the game outright. It wouldn't be impossible. You just have to have where it says included in Ubisoft Plus, just a separate icon that says purchase separately.
I can see this being overlooked because from Stadia and Ubisoft's point of view, it's like, why would you want to buy a game you have access to anyway?
Yeah.
Just get Ubisoft Plus again. That sort of idea, but it's like, well, why not just give people the choice of how they want to buy the game?
Well, yeah.
If they want to give you more money, just take the money.
Yeah. Ubisoft have undeniable, amazing discounts. However,
it's the Ubisoft discounts is why I still haven't got Ubisoft Plus, because there's never been a need. It's always, if the games come out, it's always been like either I don't want it, don't need it straight away. Mm-hmm. And when the sales come, it's like, well, that's cheaper than Ubisoft Plus, so
exactly.
I'll just buy the game.
Yeah. If you're a big fan of Rayman, that was like £11 on launch as a pro sale. If you were a big fan of Rainbow Six Siege, or you wanted Rainbow Six Siege, I think we got Siege for like less than £20, right?
Yeah, when we were talking before, when Siege was about get announced, I was very much I'm going to get Ubisoft Plus for Siege, And then the price came out, and they're both basically the same price.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, I'm just going to buy Siege.
Then you've got your commitment, haven't you? So it's interesting to see. I do hope they follow this up with more deals like this. If this is like a monthly occurrence, like put these two games against each other. Obviously, it's a deal with Ubisoft, so it's a bit easy to probably negotiate. I think it's a bit harsh putting different developers against each other. Like, which is the more favoured game? Vote it out now.
I don't think it's that harsh. Just do it. Like,
I think it's easy to negotiate a set discount fee between the same publishers, though, and stuff to just say,
oh god, yeah.
There's 2 games you want a discount on. There it is, because this was always going. Like, for all we know, this was going to happen anyway, and they've just made a nice little playful game out of it, which arguably has won them more engagement than a normal sale would be. If Valhalla was just down to $14.99, I don't think it would have had half as many eyes on it than it did thanks to the vote and the poll. So it's clever marketing. Clever marketing, Team Stadia. Well done indeed. And of course, do look out. This podcast goes live on Mondays, but check out the Ubisoft channels for the announcement of the Year 2 Valhalla content, which is rumoured, Richie, to bring over 40 hours of story content. So, fill them Viking boots, I say. Indeed.
Yeah.
Next up on the dock, we have a nice little Christmas story from our friends over at Akapura Games. Darkside Detective, second game, A Fumble in the Dark, is getting some special spirited Christmas DLC. So, if you've not played Darkside Detective, it is a point-and-click adventure where you play as Detective Dooley as he goes on his missions to uncover crimes. It's always got pop culture references. It's got fantastic humour. And this, Richie, I'm tempted to say this is one you and me should check out as like a little Christmas Let's Play.
Yeah, I could do.
Because we played Cthulhu Saves Christmas last year, and we had a great time with that. So it's called, the bonus case in this one is The Ghosts of Christmas Past. And the humour in these games are fantastic. I love the art style, and it's a point and click. So it's a bit more of a relaxing game. You kind of talk it out between yourselves. I've mentioned before how me and the wife had a great time doing... When we play, we won't do voices for... we might do voices for the characters.
We probably will for the first 20 minutes and go, no, let's skip the voices.
See what we can do. But yes, Darkside Detective, A Fumble in the Dark, the sequel. It's been on sale a couple of times on Stadia, actually. Definitely worth it. One that would really, really benefit from touch input controls as well, because it is just a point-and-click game. Great to see. And it comes out on Christmas Eve. So on 24th of December, after you've wrapped your presents, you're waiting for Santa Claus to arrive. Why not kill the time by killing some cases in Darkside Detective, A Fumble in the Dark. Next up, we've got some more DLC coming from Spiritfarer. The final update arrives on December 13th, so this week. The Jackie and Daria update is the game's biggest update yet, and it will be completely free. So if you're a fan of Spiritfarer, they have left the best until last. Spiritfarer's creative director Nicholas Gurin, in a prepared statement, said the team was unanimous in their desire to make the game's final update something special, and they feel that they've really pulled out all the stops here. The Jackie and Daria update is a lovely curtain call for Spiritfarer, as well as the great show of gratitude to the fans who've supported us since the day we announced the project. We hope you enjoy one final voyage with us. So in this update, it looks like essentially part of this game's concept, Richie, is you fare spirits across to the underworld. Got my words mixed up the wrong way there. And it's just more missions. So this time is set on a new island where your character, the heroine Stella, will discover a rundown hospital, and she discovers 2 new spirits in Jackie and Daria. One is the hospital caretaker, and the other is a patient, and she's going to restore the hospital to its former glory and also help soothe these spirits on their journey to the underworld at the same time. Very well revered title from last year. Last year. I think it was end of last year. And it seems like the fan base and also the creators of the game are sending this off with some nice free DLC. Nice way to end the year.
I like the way they talk about it. It's like, it seems like this is very much a passion project for them. Like, you know what, we're going to do one more piece of DLC and we're going to put everything into it. It's like,
it does
credit to Thunder Lotus Games.
Indeed. Pivoting, however, Richie, away from all the nice, warm conversation DLC, Ubisoft dropped an interesting announcement video this week over on their YouTube channel.
All right, here we go.
Take all of that Game Awards anger and the lack of logos and roadmap and marketing for Stadia. Let's channel it towards Ubisoft because they put out a video announcing that they are going to bring NFTs to their games under the title of Ubisoft Quartz in beta. Be unique and do your own thing with NFTs in your favourite Ubisoft titles. I should point out the video has already been delisted from the Ubisoft YouTube channel, so the video, I'm guessing, had that much bad feedback. They opted to just remove the whole thing. As far as we know, it's still going ahead. But to start off with, Richie, do you know what the hell NFTs even are?
I'm not the most knowledgeable person, but basically it's crypto stuff.
It's non-fungible transfer token?
Non-fungible tokens. And so the story behind this is what Ubisoft are doing is basically turning cosmetic items that you can buy in games. Specifically, I think is a Breakpoint to start with.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And they're turning that into a kind of cryptocurrency.
So you're telling me if I earn or buy a helmet, a fancy helmet in the game, that
yes.
I can sell that helmet using a unique code to you as a prospective buyer for more than its initial value and convert that into funds.
That would be the idea behind that's basically the idea behind if you're investing in crypto. You want to buy it, you want to see the value go up, then you sell it and you've made money.
Stock markets.
It's stock trading. It basically is. But unlike with things like stock trading, where you're trading basically in a performance of a company or an organisation of some kind. So if that company does well, it goes in profit. The value of your stock goes up. Crypto's kind of weird. I don't know too much about it, how it kind of all works in the back end. But from what I can tell, it's not kind of that built on anything tangible. And with this especially, if these NFTs can't be transferred between games, if Ubisoft pull the plug on that game, all the money you've got invested in that game is now gone. Because technically, you'll still own the NFT, but it's worthless. Yeah, because it's worthless though. So that's the thing. But here's my thing: Ubisoft are doing this because they like money. My thing for Ubisoft is you're a fucking games company. If you want more money, make better fucking games.
That's putting a cherry on top of the cake there.
Yeah.
Launching this week in beta with the PC version of Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, it will enable players to acquire digits, which are collectible in-game vehicles, weapons, and pieces of equipment. Digits will be released as part of limited editions, and each is made up of a fixed number or code of a cosmetic item. They are the new way, according to Ubisoft, to experience cosmetic items, combining the fun of playing with AAA quality assets and the thrill of owning NFTs that represent unique collectible pieces of Ubisoft game worlds. Each digit has its own serial number, which can be viewed by other players in-game and comes with a certificate of ownership. Players will be able to sell digits on third-party platforms outside of the Ubisoft ecosystem. It's hard to even read. Our long-term efforts let us understand how blockchain's decentralized approach could genuinely make players stakeholders in our games in a way that is also sustainable for our industry.
That last bit's just nonsense. What this is doing is this isn't for gamers at all, because this doesn't improve or change the games at all, apart from the cosmetics are now technically unique. But by that, they're basically going to be procedurally generated with a serial number on them.
Yeah. This, Richie, I think goes along.
You're going to get an influx of crypto, people who are investing in crypto come into these games, just trading for the sake of it. And I just don't know. I don't like this.
This is Ubisoft's play with the Game Award. Being the season of the Game Awards, this is Ubisoft's play to take the worst video game company title away from EA. Yeah. This isn't fun. This isn't video games to me.
I think it's unfair to say EA, the worst video game company, considering Activision currently exists. But what this is going to do is you're going to see an influx of people who have no interest in the game getting into the game to buy and trade on the NFTs. So it's not going to be better for the game, because these people not interested, they'll play the game as much as they are required to. But there's also the problem is these crypto miners, they're quite intelligent people for a lot of parts, especially those who actually run server farms. they will be creating bots to play the game for them, to effectively mine cosmetics. So to automate the process, so that which then they can trade on the marketplaces. I think this is generally going to be bad for multiplayer games. Like,
I mean, when did video games stop being video games?
yeah,
Like, when I booted up a Tom Clancy game in yesteryear, I just get some cool guns, kill some bad guys, go on an adventure, done. Fun. And now it's about trading on stock markets and keeping digital currencies and cosmetics and emojis and dance-offs and season passes
the
and
annoying
content.
Thing is,
and
they know this is going to be controversial because they're trying to throw stuff like, "Oh, we're doing good. It's good stuff for like energy consumption." It's like, you know what would be better? I'm stealing this point actually from Kind of Funny Games Daily, but you know what would be better from Gary Whitta specifically? What would be better for energy consumption is you just don't do this shit.
Yeah, you use less energy not doing it than you do doing it energy efficient.
Focus on your day job, Ubisoft, and stop just churning out 7 out of 10 titles that are good enough. And if you want to make more money, actually try and make a truly outstanding game.
Yeah.
Because I think Ubisoft kind of usually pitch their games to the 7 out of 8 out of 10 mark. Occasionally they'll slip into a 9, but everything's off a production line in Ubisoft, and the games really feel it at times. Look at how Far Cry was received.
Yeah, there's certainly a pivotal point I think Ubisoft need to go through in the new year, which is kind of just
I think they really need to have a rethink. And honestly, I hope gamers across the board realise what this sort of stuff can mean for their games going forward. And if they put this technology in the game, don't buy the game.
Yeah. Hopefully,
I'm not going to buy a game that has the Ubisoft Quartz in it.
Yeah, I mean,
because I don't want that shit. I don't want that shit to infest my hobby. And this, if it gets accepted from Ubisoft, EA will start it, Activision will start it, then Bethesda will do it, and Microsoft and Sony and stuff, and they'll just spread. And then it's like the same how microtransactions and the battle passes and all that sort of stuff spread.
Yeah, remember when you just bought a game, Richie?
And played the game.
Bought a game, you played the game.
I have no problems with microtransactions. Yeah, I have no problems with microtransactions to a certain degree, as long as they're stuck to cosmetic. But this is inviting non-gamers into the gaming space to basically abuse the situation. I can't see a positive spin on this. Outside of people will be greedy and try and make money.
You've got to think if you're just an average, if you're just an average gamer or a kid, if I have cryptocurrency tied up in these quartz points and I've got the value of 25 pence or a few pound, then you reinvest. It's like Ubisoft menu systems and games have got a lot going on for them anyway. Like, do I need another layer and another sub menu of crypto stuff to deal with? And it's like, I just want to play the game, but. Yeah. That's enough for that. Quartz, NFTs, non-fungible whatevers can... No fucking thank you. NFT. Moving on. We've got some good news for Destiny 2 players. They were at the Game Awards, and we've got some great news. Bungie are celebrating their 30th anniversary with a great content update. They've introduced a lot of new content across the last 6 months, of course, as they build towards their... What's it called? I've forgot the name already. The Queen DLC? I just said it at the start of the show.
I can't remember.
I want to say a Frost Queen, Ice Queen, Killer Queen.
I think is it Frost Queen?
Frost Queen? Either way.
Destiny 2, Killer Queen Black Edition.
Black Edition. It's been a long show. Bungie has introduced, of course, all this content. The 30th anniversary celebrating with some new weapons, new areas, and new unlocks inspired by the past 30 years of Bungie. They get additional rewards, and it's now available on Stadia. So new dungeons, new difficulties, new DLC. They've of course give a roadmap leading up to the new Queen DLC, which I still can't remember.
The Witch Queen.
Witch Queen?
Yeah.
Rise of the Witch Queen.
Why were we thinking Frost then?
I don't know. It's winter, I guess. Other than that, so if you're a fan of Destiny 2, go back to it. Richie, I'm actually really keen on a Thursday night that we go back to Destiny.
Yeah, we were planning one before, but then I think neither of us were available. We ended up having to cancel the stream.
Oh, we did, yeah. I had a thumbnail ready for it as well, because that's when we discovered that the logo doesn't marry with thumbnails very well.
Yeah, I made the thumbnail, and it took me ages to get something that didn't look like absolute shite.
Yeah, well, We'll maybe have to go back and try that again.
Yeah.
But plenty of mods, perks, quests and bounties, all there as part of the 30th anniversary event. Available now, and shout out to Bungie supporting this. Damn it, the trailer I'm playing says Witch Queen at the end. Just to confirm it. Available now on Google Stadia. Final stories of the week. ARK Survival Evolved is also receiving some new content. As part of all of these wonderful celebrations, the Winter Wonderland pack is now out, which is a community-created Lost Island map, which will be turned into an official ARK map on December the 14th. In this free DLC feature, survivors will encounter new biomes. There's our word again, Richie. Biomes. Damn you, Returnal. Challenges and mysterious ruins. Arriving with the map will be 3 new real-world creatures, including 3 dinosaurs. I'm not even going to attempt to name them 3 dinosaurs. Armagosaurus.
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
No, Armagosaurus, Dinopithecus, and Sinomacrops. Sinomacrops. Either way, ARK is what it is for me. I don't think it's got really anything worthwhile on Stadia to talk about, but the best thing to take away from this is that it's a community created island that's been turned into an official map, which just shows how much effort the community put in for it to be legitimized within ARK lore. Don't know if they got any money for it or not, for it to be converted over, but it's good to see.
It's one of the, if you're a fan just making it because you enjoy the game, I don't think the money would matter if I was doing that as a fan thing. Just it's the pride you'd have in going, I made that, I contributed to that, and now it's official. Like, I'd hope they get like the names in the credits.
Oh, there's got to be something like in world, like whether it's an Easter egg or a character or whatever it is. But it looks like it introduces some new mechanics, some new areas to discover, and more importantly, raptors and mistletoe for Christmas. Just what everybody wants.
For Christmas, he's your raptors and mistletoe.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm yeah. ARK is what it is. I think it missed its window of opportunity on Stadia, unfortunately, and I'm sure there's people who play it, but either way, 14th of December, don't have to wait long. And then final story of the week, another DLC pack is coming out. Part of the blog announced Crayta Strength and Sorcery season is coming. A new era awaits. Strength and Sorcery, build magical realms and impressive fortresses with Crayta's latest season. There are 2 creation features, game remixing and blueprints. Remixing allows creators to make a copy of existing games, whereas blueprints enables the community to build starter maps with new creators can use to start a game creation straight away. And for a little extra magic, from this season onwards, Creators Battle Pass will also be completely free for all players. So new Battle Pass, all free, new content, new items, new assets, adding to Crayta. Of course, if memory serves, Crayta are partially owned by Epic now?
Yeah, I think it might be. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
Facebook Gaming. There was someone who chipped in and bought shares or a chunk of this company, which we said would be great for its growth.
Yeah, well, it went cross-platform as well, didn't it?
It did indeed. So Crayta seems one of those ones that's going to just quietly get big in the background like Roblox, and then out of nowhere it's going to turn out they've got like 2 million concurrent players just making the most craziest shit you've ever seen.
It's something I think every now and again we should just check back in, maybe once or twice a year, check back in and see what's going on with Crayta, play out some of the new game modes that people have created, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. We need Tom though with us when we do that, because he knows about the coding stuff.
Well, I mean, not about us making stuff. I mean, just play the games other people have made.
Yeah, very true. Very true. There's got to be someone out there who's made a Squid Game.
Yeah.
Like the little levels in Squid Game has to have been recreated in Crayta. If it hasn't, you heard it here first. It's an ideal adventure. Christmas Squid Game. But with that, Richie, brings us to the close of episode 116 of the Sounds of Stadia podcast. Regardless of Game Awards news, folks, take heart, take spirit. Cloud gaming is here to stay in the future. Whether it's on Stadia or not, we don't know. We'll have to see what 22 has in store. And that's why, Richie, we are going away to talk about marketing.
We're going to be talking about marketing Stadia for 2020.
2022. We're talking roadmaps, promotions, unique opportunities, sharing, social media, games, announcements, press events, everything that we think could benefit this wonderful platform in the year to come, and the gamers who play on this platform. Of course, if you want to check out some more Stadia content, keep it locked to our channel where we have live streams, let's plays, first looks, and more importantly, if you are interested in chatting about Stadia, check out the description below. There is a link for our Discord server where many of our wonderful listeners, audience members talk on a regular basis, discuss, chat about all things gaming, family, social lives, hobbies, interests, and much, much more. We thank them all. And thanks out to our members as well who support the show, support the channel. Me, Richie and Tom bring you better quality content every single week because, Richie, we've now passed the 116th episode. SideQuest is coming up on 50. Don't know if you're going to do anything special for episode 50.
I might do for 52. I know it's a weird number, but it's then that will be an entire year of SideQuest.
Okay. I was like 52. It's like the meaning of life just to you. It's a special number. And this Thursday, we'll be playing games as we creep up on Christmas as well. Probably check out 9 to 5, maybe?
Yeah, 9 to 5 might be a good show.
Unless we get anything else. If not, if 9 to 5 all goes to shit, we'll go and play more Wreckfest, no doubt. Thank you, everybody who's watched along this week. Thank you to everyone who shares, likes our content, gets the word out there in the Reddit threads and everything. Just tagging us, letting other people know that we make Stadia content. Help us out with that algorithm. We do truly, truly appreciate it, no matter where you get our content. You can find all of your updates at Twitter, at Helix Cloud Games. You can find me at CyberChris2077. You can find Richie at
RichieC89.
And you can find Big Daddy himself, Tom, at Adaxis LP. My name's been Chris.
And I've been Richie.
We've been Sounds of Stadia for Helix Cloud Games. Have a great week, folks, and remember, play wherever makes you the happiest.